Are you tired of asking Dr. Google about each and every symptom that you're experiencing and still feeling stuck? It might be time to talk to a health coach. Let's dive in. Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Anjali Agrawal. I'm the founder of Back in Balance. I'm a non-cracking, non-propping chiropractor and integrative functional nutrition specialist. I love helping families and workplaces optimize health and wellness by moving well, eating well, and living well. And I'm especially passionate about empowering families as they navigate the 5 trimesters from preconception to postpartum and beyond by taking a 360-degree approach to nervous system regulation. So let's talk about working with the health coach. In my experience, a lot of times people hear the word coach or something like that, and then they kind of assume or feel like it's kind of taboo, right? It feels like I should be able to figure this out by myself. Or now with Dr. Google and ChatGPT and all the things, right? There's a lot of information available to us. But if you've ever been in this situation, this happened to me a lot in school, right? We would be learning about something. I've been convinced that I had all these things that we were learning about. And it's sometimes hard to put all that into perspective for yourself, right? It can be like, oh my God, I have all these symptoms. I have all these things happening. I'm going to be dead tomorrow. Like, there's just no question about it. But it's hard to step back and get a whole body perspective on ourselves when we don't even really know how it all connects. And so when we think of a coach, sometimes we think like, oh, I can do it by myself, except for people who are in the athletic space, right? Then you always have a coach because someone is pushing you to improve your game. You could be an elite athlete, or you could be amateur, or you could just be playing for fun, but there is always some kind of coaching involved in it. So why do we not take that same approach when it comes to our health? Why would we not want to work with somebody who is there to help guide us in improving our health and our well-being and taking the steps necessary to hold us a little bit accountable, to push us beyond our comfort zone? So maybe instead of doing 5 reps, you do 10 reps, or whatever that might look like for you, but having some guidance so that it's not all up to you to figure out what is happening and what are the things that are quote unquote normal versus the things that maybe should be addressed differently, what the body is capable of. What better person than somebody who has gone on that journey already and has experienced that and can help you along your journey as well? So, some of the things that I look for in my coaches that I feel are really of value to me is first that they need to feel relatable. I need to feel like they have walked through my similar struggles or challenges and they have come across on the other side of it so that they can really understand what I am going through, right? When I first started in practice, if I came across a person who was amazing but they didn't have all the things that felt like it could relate to my family. I always knew I wanted to have kids. If they didn't have that, it felt like they may not understand what that schedule would entail, right? So having little kids, my schedule looks really different or my availability looks really different than for somebody who maybe has older kids or doesn't have little kids around, right? And the coach has to be relatable to me. So I'm not perfect by no stretch of the imagination, but when it comes to health, I had my health challenges too, right? Health is a journey for me as well. So for things like my sugar cravings or for working with my symptoms of eczema or whatever that might look like, it was really helpful to me to have a coach who said, "Yes, I understand that I navigated it this way. I struggled with similar things. And so this is one way that I approached it, or these are the things that I tried. Let's walk you through this journey to see what helps you." Versus somebody saying like, "Oh, just don't eat sugar or just avoid the gluten, avoid the dairy, avoid and yes, there might be definitely value to all of these statements, but it needs to feel relatable to me. And then also it needs to feel relational to me, right? I don't want to feel like it was just a transaction of like, okay, you came in for your appointment, we did these things, we talked about these things. Next, I'll see you in a month or 2 months, whatever the framework might be, and next person in, right? So it needs to feel relational to me. I like really getting to know my practice members, what's happening for them, what's happening in their worlds, in their families, and all of that, right? I love getting to know, what are your kids' names? What do they like to do? What do you like to do? Because this is your whole world. When it comes to making health changes, sometimes it can feel really overwhelming. And what is your support structure like when you make these changes, right? So for me, it has to feel like a relationship that we can have strong communication with, and that is not just a to-do list for you to do on your own, right? I would really like to be here as you go through these changes, and what are the challenges? What are the pivots that we need to make alongside the journey for you that might be different for somebody else, but what are the things that you're experiencing and we need to navigate that in real time? Also, it's important for me to be around people who are positive and optimistic in nature, right? I mean, we're already our worst critics, right? And that voice that we hear all the time, all the criticism, nobody wants to be around somebody who is just putting you down even more, right? But we want people to help match us where we're at and then carry us to the next level and beyond. I really, really appreciate when my coaches are collaborative, not just with me, but if they have the resources and the people in their networks to help collaborate with. So might say like, I'm really strong in this area, but I would love for you to talk to this person regarding this because this is their zone of genius and that's what they're really good at. So I really like working with other practitioners, other people to help build that transformative experience for my practice members so that it's not just a one man show, right? Or one woman show, but it's really about how do we bring this community of experts together so that we can really help you and your family and in your health journey to the best of our abilities. And also being really curious, right? For me, that's important when I look for a coach, right? It's do they take the time to understand what is happening for me? Because I don't want the cookie cutter approach that is used for everybody because everybody is unique in so many different ways. But when it comes to programs, there has to be, in my perspective, some element of individualization or some element of customization for it to feel like it's really meant for me. There can be foundational information or components of it that are a little bit more universally applicable. But I really appreciate when there is some element of like, okay, what is your specific situation? What is happening here? Let's get a little curious. Let's dive in into that a little bit. And then here's the plan. Also, I really, really enjoy and appreciate when the person who is coaching me has experienced this transformation for themselves with their clients, their patients, their practice members, whoever they're working with, because in my perspective again it's not just about the day-to-day transaction of it, but it's really about what is the overall transformation that we're trying to create here. So it's not a quick fix approach, it's really what is the process looking like. And again, they've embodied that process, they've experienced that process, and they've gone through that transformation for themselves and for those they work with. So, those are some of my top values that I look for when I'm trying to find a coach. What are your top values? I'd love to hear it. If you feel like this sounds like a good fit or you would like to explore this further, I would love to have a conversation with you. You can schedule a discovery call in the link below, and we can dive in to see how we can better fit your needs, your family's needs for your health and wellness journey so that you don't get stuck or frustrated or overwhelmed every time you go to Dr. Google and say, what does it mean when I experience X, Y, and Z symptoms? And looking at it from a more holistic perspective as opposed to just chasing the symptom and trying to cover that up with whatever kind of band aid you might choose. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next week.